AskReddit by PayLamadillo 254. Men of Reddit, what's the one thing you hate about being a man? Sometimes my penis just won't listen to me. My dick when there's a emotionally distressed woman crying in my arms, guess it's time to get big now. When I go to pee and have it all lined up just for it to shoot out a 40-degree angle. Even worse is when you get a split stream where you can't angle both of them into the bowl at the same time. The automatic assumption that I just know about mechanics, carpentry, and DIY. I notice this with my dad. Everyone assumes he knows what he's talking about when it comes to mechanics or DIY stuff, but he has no idea, so he comes to ask me or my mum because he's utterly clueless, but yet no matter how much he tells people, they still keep coming back to him. As a single dad, my son is generally excluded from things like park meetups or birthday parties because apparently I don't fit in with the other parents. I've probably been told it 1,000 times in 1,000 variations. What they actually mean is I'm a man and mums don't want me around because it's generally just mums. I invited all of the kids in my daughter's preschool class to her party, and one mum asked if Rachel's dad would be there. I asked her if she had a restraining order against Rachel's dad or something, and she said something to the effect of because he's a single dad, he's gonna try grooming my daughter too. I met this guy at a previous party and I now remember this mother, because she was gossiping with the other mothers saying that he was so close with his daughter, she gave him a kiss and this mother gagged. Like, it's gross to her that a single guy parent and his only 3 years old daughter were close. That mum was politely told not to come. F all that. If you sit to pee, sometimes you will screw up and piss through the gap between the toilet seat and the bowl. The fucking worst. Lack of emotional support. People always think you have some hidden agenda. And when you voice frustration and upset, people take it as anger. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Thoreau. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way, Pink Floyd. Dick touching the cold porcelain of the toilet. Deleted. Leaking after I pee, no matter how much I shake it out. That's because there's a bend in the male urethra keeping back the last drops. There's a point between the bowel sac and the anus, where you can softly press to straighten said bend. Ever since I discovered this, I stopped leaking after I pee, and I was quite furious that this isn't more common knowledge. Edit. Many thanks for the awards and acknowledgements. That I must be swift as the coursing river. Li Shan gave me unrealistic expectations for men from age 10. About a month ago, I was walking down the street in Copenhagen. It was close to midnight, and I was the only one on the street. It was dark and a bit foggy. I was minding my own business, having my headphones on. I hadn't noticed, at some point, I was walking about 15 feet behind a young woman. She was clearly walking faster, slyly looking over her shoulder at me. I understood the situation, and stopped walking, pretending to look at windows, while she had time to walk out of sight. I understand why she probably was nervous, walking alone down a dark street, with an older guy walking behind her, and as such, spare her space to get some distance between us. I also hate that's where we are. This is especially sad considering how Copenhagen is one of the safest places on earth. If there's any one thing, it's that I never feel like I'm desired. If I don't make a move, no moves will be made. Right on. Also, I'm kind of stuck in a rut right now where I feel like I have to be there for everyone but none is ever there for me. Although it's a lonely feeling, I try to combat it by making changes little by little. Ass hair. That's the muffler for your farts. Prostate cancer. I guess men's fashion. I've had absolutely no luck finding anything I like, and all my current clothes are very plain. See, I'm okay with dressing plain. My problem is that I'm a tall skinny bastard. So finding clothes that are long enough, while also not looking like I'm wearing a circus tent, is an issue. Unintentionally scaring women and kids. Was sitting in my car waiting for my wife. The owner of the car next to me came out to get into her car, saw me, and hurriedly jumped in her car and locked the doors. I was wondering why she was acting so scared. I was in a desolate 711 parking eating my hot dog before heading to work. A lady pulls up and parks about 3 spots down. I glance in her direction and notice her giving me the stink eye. I sat there for about 15-20 minutes. Then noticed that as I pulled off she finally exited her vehicle. Tons of pressure to lead, to earn, and to provide. All while walking on a very narrow rope. I put this pressure on myself more than anything else. I know it's bad and I should be easier on myself, but I can't break out of it mentally. Sometimes, especially when things aren't going well financially, it crushes me. No amount of my partner saying it's okay makes it go away. Having to kill the spider. Bitch, I'm scared too. I'm deeply scared of spiders, but so is my wife. As long as she finds it first and gets scared, then somehow I come over all brave and can dispose of it easily. Today made me realize a new one. I recently got 2 kittens and when I went outside with them today they attacked my drawstring. One of their claws pierced my sack. Deleted. I love children and I would love to babysit, but people think it's creepy that a man likes children, but I don't mean any sexual intentions. I just love them because they are innocent and their minds are so creative. I love playing with them because I'm still a child in my heart. I was married to a child abuse survivor. She unfortunately put a wall between me and my own boys when they were little. I even didn't recognize why until recently. I love kids. I was a mailman and somehow, people felt less scared of me interacting with their little ones. I guess the uniform helps. Life sucks sometimes. When I used to date, I used to tell how I would have loved a little girl and I can see the disgust in their eyes. This is now a hard boundary for my next relationship. I feel you, we are all kids after all, and being an adult doesn't stop us to be goofy and full of fun. Kids recognize it though, but for others we are just creepy old dudes. Looking at an entire wall of clothing in a store and only seeing neutral colors and blue. Lad, looking at an entire wall of clothing and realizing nothing fits you. I'm 6'6" inches with a long torso and average length legs. Literally no clothes are made for me. I don't envy women's fashion, as it seems overly complicated, but man, I wouldn't give to just throw on like the male equivalent of a sundress and not have to worry about fit. It's a pet peeve of mine, but how a lot of girls expect guys to approach them, or impress them. Guys are expected to go up to girls to start a conversation, or ask them out. Why? The Bumble dating app tried to reverse this by getting women to start conversations. All that did was get women to say hey. From my experience as a guy, if you reply with a hey back, they don't reply anymore. If a guy did that, I can tell you that the response would be split 50/50, those that respond and those that don't. But if a woman said hey, most guys will respond. Why? Because it feels good to be the one that gets the attention rather than having to give attention. My favorite Bumble profile. Don't expect me to make the first move. Looks like someone didn't read the instructions. I hate how uncomfortable I can sometimes make women IDK when walking alone at night. Like sometimes you can just tell when they start walking faster and try to give you a wide berth. I completely understand why, I don't blame them. But it always makes me feel bad, or like I should say something to ease the tension. But that'd probably make it worse. Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to assault you. I love John Mulaney's stand-up about that. I just want to run up and grab her like, don't worry. I'm not going to rape you. A broke mom is trying her best, a broke dad is a deadbeat. Shit, I never noticed this, but it's totally how it is. That's sad. Actually, this reminds me of this Brendan Frazier video I recently saw. https://yahoo.be/6xmzad0eddc?556. You should watch 2-3 minutes before this part to get the context of this bit. But to me what it seems to boil down to is that the judge, though you earned a lot of money before, there is no reason you can't earn a lot of money again, and I feel like a judge would never say that to mom. Actually, check out the whole video while you're at it. It's really interesting. So dads just need to pay up. It's what a man does. Moms that can't pay up, on the other hand, are given more sympathy. Always having to be the stronger one, both mentally and physically. Sometimes it feels like, as a man, you are not allowed to have feelings or emotions, but that movie is fucking sad and I didn't want the dog to die either. I got dumped for crying when my mother got diagnosed with cancer. It really hurt because she was feminist and progressive and I really respected her, but once she saw me in tears once, she could never see me as a strong, attractive man again. Did you know that if you're sitting on the floor of your shower and you stand up quickly without thinking, you can totally step on your own ball sack? 0/10 do not recommend. Larry long balls? The fact that I can't pay women compliments about their hair, nails, perfume, clothes without it being interpreted as anything more than a compliment. I don't want to date you, just want to tell you you look nice today. About 4 years ago in my high school biology class I was partnered with a really dark-skinned girl. The only reason I mention that is because she had really deep blue eyes, which caught me off guard. I was preoccupied moving my books and backpack over to the sink that we had to sit at, and I glanced up and her eyes were the first thing I noticed. Without even thinking I said, "Whoa, your eyes are beautiful." That was before I realized what kind of balls it would have taken me to say that normally. It came out as a sincere and honest first impression. And flirting was the last thing on my mind. I think the next day she asked the teacher to switch partners because she and another student had switched places without my knowing. The rest of that semester I couldn't help but feel that my sudden compliment might have come off wrong and that I made her uncomfortable. Taking a whiz and having the rest leak out 5 minutes later. Sweaty balls. A. Pubic hair getting caught under my foreskin. B. Being unable to pursue my dream of working in childcare without automatically being labeled a pedophile. In that order. Stop telling the childcare places about the foreskin bit. Dating culture. Most men feel unvalued due to the lack of attention. When my low-hanging geriatric balls hit the cold shitter water. I was thinking your balls must be like 30 centimeters long, and then I remembered the water fills most of the bowl in some places and not just a tiny amount like it is here. Being feared. I don't want anyone to ever feel threatened by me, and even the thought of making someone feel unsafe makes me tear up. I obviously don't hold it against anyone if they feel uncomfortable. I just wish they didn't have to. It breaks my heart to see someone cross the street rather than having to pass me. I often wonder if I would look less threatening wearing clown clothes instead of my work gear, but that would probably make it worse. Having to be extra careful around children. Good luck trying to take pictures of your daughters playing at the park. After finally acknowledging your own humanity, having to man up again when you realize you're gonna die at the end of the 39.5-foot pole society holds you at bay with. I'm the one that goes to jail when my girlfriend beats the shit out of me. I was in a domestic violence situation. Went to court for a restraining order. There was a room titled victim's room, so I started to walk in, but a lady told me to leave saying this is for women only. I asked, what if the man is the victim, to which the lady said it didn't matter. A nice police lady walking past though said, I've been asking the exact same thing. Anyhow, even the court in essence says that the man can't be the victim. Assuming we're angry or in a bad mood just because we're in our own headspace in that moment, Not thinking about anything or anyone, just you and your thoughts, no emotions, just neutral and content in that short moment of happiness. Then all comes crumbling down with a stupid comment like, why do you always have a serious look on your face? Not being allowed to be awkward, bashful, or shy in adulthood. It's labeled as weird and creepy. I'm also an attractive guy, so what someone looks like has nothing to do with this. It's an expectation to be outgoing and whatever. I think the main reason for hating being a man is conscription into the urgent army. Hello from Russia, where the loss of a year of life giving back to the motherland is not the worst thing. Although we didn't borrow anything from her, but then the standard things on trifles. Supposedly men don't cry. Such hobbies are finally not masculine and TD. The generations of the USSR are quite conservative, and many people are not able to accept the new world, and what used to be unacceptable has now become the norm in society, although there are exceptions. The treatment of conscripts in Russia is said to be horrendous even in times of peace. I hope you managed to dodge that somehow. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Getting hit in the groin sucks. Been hit a few times and it's no fun. You know that pain in your stomach you get after you get hit in the nuts? God, I hate that feeling. Having to repress all feelings of sadness and emotion other than what is deemed manly by society. Being repeatedly told how much we live in a patriarchy whilst having personal feelings of very little control over anything. The fact I, a heterosexual, can't be friends with women without society saying I want to fuck them. Probably has been said and will be said again. Gonna say it anyway. How, at least in my experience, nobody cares about our mental health. A woman could go to social media to open up about her mental health and is showered with support. A guy does the same thing and the comments section is full of trolls and people telling him to toughen up, which only adds to whatever mental stress he is already going through. Society is so fucked up. To my lovely men and women of Reddit going through shit, stay strong. Hope it gets better. The assumption you are always in the mood for sex. Sometimes I just don't feel it and that should be good enough. The fact I get judged incorrectly by strangers because I'm a male. The burden that our success is only valued in society by the amount of money we have. How fucking alone I feel in this world. How emotionally numb I've just made myself over the years because you can't be disappointed if you can't feel anything. The idea of not showing emotion as a sign of strength. I really like hugs and amp, also have to cry it out sometimes. I'm a straight man, and I don't care if you're male or female. If you need a hug, I've got one for ya. I really dislike the way we are looked at as weak when we show any real emotions. Deleted.